Dungeons and Dragons, the classic tabletop role-playing game, has been around for over 40 years and has been gaining a surge in popularity in recent years. It's not just avid gamers who are fans of this game, but also some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. We will be looking at some of the celebrities who are fans of Dungeons and Dragons. Does the name Joe Manganiello ring a bell for you? No? Well, he is best known for his role as Alsad Hervia in the hit TV show True Blood. To our surprise, Mr. Manganiello is a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons, and even wrote a book about the game called Death Saves: Fallen Heroes of the Kitchen Table. In an interview with the New York Times, Manganiello openly stated that he has been playing the game since he was a teenager and that it is a great way to escape from the real world and enter into a world of fantasy and adventure, and frankly, who wouldn't love being away from the reality?
You are a longtime and intense fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Is that true?
This is very true. Yes. At the time when I was a kid, there was a whole satanic panic. So everyone was blaming Satan for, the kids playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Next up, we have actor Wil Wheaton. To all the Big Bang Theory fans, I know you saw this coming. Will has been a regular player in several campaigns, including a weekly game that has been going on with friends for over a decade. But you already knew that, didn't you? He has been a guest on several podcasts and web series dedicated to the game, where he has shared his thoughts and experiences with the game. Will has been a strong advocate for the game and has used his platform to promote its popularity, as if it wasn't already well known enough.
The point is, there is a great game called The Alpha. You can use it to embrace your inner wild animal. In The Alpha, you will act as a wolf pack, competing with other packs for food and territory.
He has spoken about the positive impact the game has had on his life and how it has helped him to develop important skills such as teamwork, critical thinking, and problem solving, almost as if the world is his dungeon. Will's love for Dungeons and Dragons has also inspired him to write about the game. He has written several articles and blog posts about the game, as well as a memoir about his experiences as a player. How much more obsessed could one get? Comedian and writer Brian Posehn is also a fan of Dungeons & Dragons. Posehn is known for his witty humor, and he has been a fan of the game for many years. In an interview with IGN, Posehn stated that he plays the game to increase his chances of surviving a real-life apocalypse, as it is like a training ground for him.
In any way, but you are a fantasy sci-fi geek. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a giant nerd.
You're a giant nerd.
And with the recent threat that was COVID-19, we think we could learn a thing or two from this game too. Another celebrity we were absolutely surprised with was none other than Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel isn't associated with the franchise, but he has expressed interest in playing the game in the past. Vin's love for the game has been a well-known fact among his fans and has even been featured in several interviews. He has been known to play the game with his friends and co-stars, including his Fast and Furious co-star, The Rock. Talk about shocking. He has even gone as far as to say that he would love to star in a movie based on the world of Dungeons & Dragons. In an interview, Vin even stated, "Dungeons & Dragons is a game that allows you to escape from reality and enter a world of adventure and imagination."
It is a training ground for your imagination. But when you would play as a character about 2 hours into it, your voice would change. Right. Your body composition would change. Now, any moment you could get up from the table and pull out a sword and,
I love the freedom that comes with creating my own characters and stories within the game. And honestly, preach! Because the sort of freedom we crave can only be experienced in a game with minimal rules. Everyone knows and loves Deborah Ann, but did you know that even she is a huge fan of D&D? Honestly, we didn't know that, so it was a huge shock for us. She is recorded having said that this specific fantasy game caught her attention due to its sorcery and wild adventures, because even though she likes to use logic, there are times when she appreciates being challenged with magic.
Because all I want to do is talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and everybody I meet, you know, their first image is, it's like Ren Fair meets LARPing meets Magic the Gathering, and you know, it's all kind of D&D adjacent, but they don't have a really clear idea of what exactly D&D is. I think for me, I'm a puzzle person, I'm a problem solver. That's my favorite thing to do, is like use my brain and creatively get around problems. That's sort of an interesting, fun thing. It's even when I act, that's the same thing. It's this idea of like, even with like Shakespeare, on the first page you'll say, I hate that person, and then on page 3 you're like, no, I love them. And the problem is you have to figure out, well, how do you make that work, you know? So I think for me, the idea that like you come across a door, it's locked. There are many ways you can solve that problem. And
You've watched this video so far and still haven't liked or subscribed to this video and channel? What are you waiting for? Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about the magnificent late Robin Williams and, you guessed it, his love for the popular game Dungeons and Dragons. Williams was a huge fan of the game and even had his own set of customized dice and a character sheet. He was so devoted to the game that he often organized Dungeons and Dragons gatherings at his home. In fact, Williams even wrote a book about the characters he created for the game. Talk about inspirations. And here we can't even be motivated enough to not procrastinate. Stephen Colbert, a player of the game since the 70s. It was only recently that he got back to the game after a hiatus of about 2 decades, and now he hosts game nights with various celebrities to give them a run for their imagination. Additionally, we have The Big Show. Sounds next to impossible to picture such a big, scary guy in a gathering playing a fantasy-based board game. But we told you to prepare to be surprised. Mr. Big Show has also been spotted amongst a number of celebrities coming together to play. But the most prominent spotting of his was at Joe Manganiello's D&D campaign night. Hold on to your seats because the next shock of the day is Tim Duncan. Yes, you heard it, the NBA player. And not just any 5-time champion all with the Spurs, but his guilty pleasure, or geeky pleasure, is no other than our wizard board game Dungeons and Dragons. So if next time someone says it's only for geeks, hit them with this. And lastly, we have our very own director, Jon Favreau. Favreau is not only an avid D&D player, but he states that his creativity stems from the time he has spent playing the game. If this game is really as good as described by these celebrities, then best believe you will find us at the next campaign of Dungeons and Dragons. You might have thought this game was only for loners or nerds, but here we are with a few of the top celebrities of Hollywood in love with it. There is even a movie coming out in a few days. Thanks for watching, and do tell us in the comments which celebrity's interest in D&D surprised you the most. We hope you found it interesting and enjoyable. Be sure to hit the bell icon for more interesting videos.